Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode. Update: I didn't tell my father and stepmother about my son's birth. Asked me to get out of the wheelchair spot on the bus for her stroller? Random kid keeps whole hotel floor awake, him and his mother get to regret it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Update: I didn't tell my father and stepmother about my son's birth. That being said, most of the comments helped me understand that I did the right thing. Maybe I was the but I had the right to be one. My final conclusion was, be rude to me through a hard time in my life? Fine. Have fun in the peanut gallery. I decided that I wasn't exactly comfortable with the idea of Paula holding and cooing over my newborn after almost 9 months of rudeness and lack of acknowledgement. So I told my father that while he was free to come to my apartment and meet his grandson for the first time, I didn't want Paula to tag along. My intentions weren't to ban her forever, but rather to just wait a month or two, or, in a perfect world, until she apologized. We had a small fight over it, but my dad agreed and came to meet him without Paula. He visited us a couple more times that week. During these visits, he was cold and short with me and my husband, and I ended up being cold in return. This was, admittedly, not my proudest moment, but I was too tired and angry to care at the time. A little under 2 weeks ago, my paternal aunt and 2 cousins, including the one I mentioned in my previous post, came from out of state. My cousins stayed at my apartment, while my aunt stayed at my father's. During her stay, my aunt caught several instances of Paula openly bad-mouthing me and my unfair treatment of her, but didn't comment on it at first. And then, the day before she left, she watched my father not only agree with Paula, but call me childish and ungrateful as well. Like most of my family, my aunt knew the whole story. She told them both off for how they treated me during my pregnancy. My sister was there, and eventually joined in. The result was, apparently, a huge fight between all 4 of them. Eventually, my sister started crying. She drove to my place and told me everything before falling asleep on my couch. My father called me and we fought. It lasted about 40 minutes. And after countless attempts on his part to play the "but I'm your father" card, I managed to make it clear that I owed Paula nothing, least of all my time and attention. The next day, my aunt came over for lunch. She told us that after our argument, there was another massive fight, this time between my dad and Paula. She didn't pick up on specific words, only screaming. A few days later, my dad called me again. He apologized and promised to try to be more involved. I'm not sure how sincere he was. I accepted the apology, but told him he's on thin ice. I will help him be a part of our lives, but I refuse to be the only one making that effort. It's not my job to try to engage him in things he shows no interest in. And if he doesn't get invested in something, he can't expect to be treated the same as the people who do. My sister went back to his place a few days later. Paula wasn't there. Apparently, she's staying with her mother for a while. Neither of us know anything else about that. If this turns out to be an actual breakup, my father will probably wait a while to confirm it. I never wished ill on her, but I'd be lying if I said I had faith in their relationship, or any of my father's, for that matter. Countless fights and a cluster-feeding newborn later, I'm exhausted. I'm glad this is over. My relationship with my father is still very strained, and I'm not particularly proud of how things turned out. But my main focus now is my son, and it warms my soul to witness how loved he already is. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all. It seems to me your father has started making efforts before the possible breakup. Him visiting a couple of times looks like a step in the direction of paying attention. Hoping for you your relationship will improve and becoming a positive part of your and your son's life. I hope so too. I don't want him to tarnish his relationship with his grandson. So Paula has an older spouse with grown kids, while she never had kids of her own but is still at an age where it's possible for her to Sounds like she was jealous of the attention expecting mothers in the family had, but wanted to play the role of extra mom once the kid came along. I feel sorry for your father. It seems he was genuinely interested in your pregnancy, but Polisatich poisoned him and sucked out all his enthusiasm to the point that he missed the birth of his first grandchild. I'm not saying you were wrong to leave them out of the loop, he needed a wake-up call, but if he keeps making an effort to participate in your and your son's life, you should give him a chance. Let's hope he has learned his lesson should Paula actually come back. Asked me to get out of the wheelchair spot on the bus for her stroller? I'm a wheelchair user and was taking the bus like I always do. There's specific spots at the front of the bus that are for disabled people and the elderly to use. I was sitting in my wheelchair strapped into the bus, and a woman with a twin stroller got on and asked me if I would get off so she could put her stroller where I was parked. I told her that I would absolutely not. This spot was for disabled people, not her stroller, and she can take the next bus if she really needs to. She tells me she has an appointment to get to, so I tell her right back that she can fold her stroller up and go further into the bus if she really needs to take this one, but I'm not moving. She gestured at my crossed legs and she had the balls to ask me to fold up my wheelchair and walk it to farther back. I am able to walk, just not much. I literally just started laughing and she accused me of faking my disability? She refused to move out of the front of the bus area where the driver can't have people and was promptly kicked off the bus. Good luck getting to that appointment, lady. That's as crass as you can get. Opposite of class. I think the driver should have intervened and put the kibosh on it. I don't think the driver could hear what was going on until after I started laughing super hard and it drove his attention over. That's when he started telling her to move or get off. I have lots of trouble with pram pushers, I'm a rollator user. They are really savage. One woman parked her buggy and went upstairs. I couldn't get off the bus. My friend has no shame. He's para, and if he gets blocked in from his van or anywhere, he will ram the offering vehicle with his electric ramp. Do not block the yellow zone or redneck wheelchair man will destroy your paint. He also has a car kitty who is therapy for others in chairs because he's not spooked of wheels. I too would have started laughing. The entitlement gets crazier every day with mothers. Random kid keeps whole hotel floor awake, him and his mother get to regret it. For some context, this happened a couple weeks ago when me, my two sisters, and my aunt and mom were on a trip to an indoor water park. We stopped at a hotel around 8 p.m. and we decided to crash there before we go to the water park the next morning as it was down the road. So I sleep in a pull-out couch, my aunt in one bed, and my two sisters and mom in the other. Fast forward to about 5 a.m. and we all wake up to a loud crash, followed by manic giggling. I sit up quickly and rub my eyes a bit, while my relatives do the same. We ask each other what that was, realize it was just a loud noise, and try to go back to sleep before we hear more giggling even closer, with stomps and sprinting up and down the hall. I get pissed off and stand up, put on some shorts and a wife beater before stepping out into the hall when a small kid about 8 to 9 smacks into my stomach. Now, I'm a big beefy kid at 6 feet 175 pounds, and this didn't faze me. The kid, however, smacked right into the ground and started crying and wailing. I look down in surprise, but I feel zero remorse for this little shit. Then I hear what I at first assume is an angry bull, before looking up and seeing a middle-aged blonde lady stomping with her arms swinging side to side like it's a cartoon. She very angrily says, "Excuse me, but what exactly do you think you're doing to my sweet baby?" Ek then goes at, "Mommy, he pushed me." I very quickly say no, I did no such thing. Your child ran directly into me after keeping my whole family awake at 5 a.m. She then smugly says, "I don't care what you say or what he was doing, you look like a grown man and you just assaulted my child. I'm going to get security and press charges." I say, "Go ahead, I'll wait." She then gets a very confused looking guard who sees me and says, "Sir, this woman here says you assaulted her child. Is this true?" I then patiently say, "No, officer, I walked out of my room and this child ran into me." The child then says, "Nah. You pushed me to the ground, I was just having fun playing." The officer simply says, "I can check the security footage if you'd like, we can see what happened here." Her face suddenly scrunched up and tried ever so hard to not look suspicious about it. "Oh," she suddenly said in a sweet, calm voice, "well, I may have been wrong, there's no need for that. Come along, sweetie, let's go back to our room." And dragged the kid along as he pouted and made a fuss. I shrugged at the guard and went back inside to tell me family about it, and that was that. C4 Creative Writing. I'm not even sure which part is the most unbelievable, it's all so ridiculously bad. First of all, you lost me at wife beater. Second, none of this happened. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.